What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Dgotsauce, and I'm back with another live stream. This is episode number 50, man. Let's give it up. Let's give it up. Episode number 50, man. Thank you guys so much for y'all viewership. Thank you for tuning in. I really do appreciate y'all for real, man. Y'all have been giving me so much love, so much feedback throughout the past couple of weeks, and we're growing, man. I can't complain. We are growing. We're growing fast, and it feels good. But this is how it's supposed to be at the end of the day, man. This is what we prepared for. This is what we've been waiting for. And honestly, it's just God's timing. We going after it. We going after it. What else can I say? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for all the love, all the support. I got a very interesting topic that I want to talk to y'all about today. And y'all can feel free if you ever do disagree, if you have a question, if you want to do anything, say anything, y'all could feel free to pull up. There is a link down below in the comments. You guys can click on that link and join, and we can have a conversation. I'm down for having conversation. I'm down for having conversation. I wanted to talk about this subject today because I felt like it should be talked about. It's not talked about enough, or it is talked about a lot in certain situations, but to the point of where I think it should be talked about in this sense. I don't really believe in reparations. I don't really care for reparations. I'm not a huge fan of reparations. I never looked for reparations, and I'm sure not going to be asking for reparations. To me, I was raised to pretty much try to get it yourself. Don't depend on the government. Don't depend on nobody to do it for you. Get to it, get active, and get after it. Pretty much is how I was raised. Obviously, when it comes to your family, your parents, your good friends, those are people you can always depend on. People like that you want to keep close. But for the majority of the rest of the world that's going on out here, they don't owe you a thing. They don't owe you nothing. They don't owe your ancestors nothing. They're not going to give you anything. They probably will if you ask for it enough and they feel guilty enough. But at the end of the day, you have the opportunity to be great regardless of what skin color you are, what gender you are. America and all throughout the world now, in a lot of places, you have opportunities to do whatever you want to do and be whatever you want to be. And nobody can stop you from getting there but yourself. And what they do a lot in media, and they do this a lot in schools, they teach you how to be normal. They teach you how to be not even normal. I don't want to say normal. They teach you how to be less than. They push it in your face. They make you feel like everything's about race. They make you feel like you've been treated wrong. You've been done unjust. They push it to the extent to where it makes you grow up sometimes resenting other cultures, resenting other races. And to be honest with you, that is the wrong way to move. There are so many beautiful people out here. There's so many different races out here. There's so many good, genuine people out here. Doesn't matter the skin color, doesn't matter the race, doesn't matter the gender. There are beautiful people out here that are hardworking. They're getting to it. They're giving back, and they're making stuff happen on a regular day basis. And they're not asking for anything. Sometimes blessings fall in their laps, and they take those blessings. Who doesn't take blessings? When blessings fall, and you better take it. I'm not telling you not to take no blessings, but for you to go out there and now, feel a certain type of way because your ancestors were treated a certain type of way and blase, blase, blah, and now you're behind. It's all a big, big, big excuse to me. It's a big excuse, especially nowadays. I can understand back when there wasn't as much freedoms for us, there wasn't as much things that we could accomplish. But now we literally don't have any excuses but laziness and the lack of determination. That's just a simple fact. If you want something that bad, if you want something, you can go get it. If you want to be a millionaire, you can be that. If you want to be a billionaire, you could be that. If you want to create something and invent something, you can do that. If you want to be a doctor, ain't nobody stopping you. They got people flying into the country. They got people flying into the country, coming from dirt roads and little tiki huts, coming to America with nothing in their pockets, not asking for a penny, just an opportunity. And they're taking that opportunity and they're making the best out of it, not asking for any handouts, just an opportunity. And that is what a lot of people who ask for reparations fail to understand. There's too much opportunity out here for you to be begging somebody for reparations. In my personal opinion, everybody came from slavery, if you want to be real, whether you here or not. Everybody came from some type of slavery. And for you to ask for reparations in 2024 after you've been here your whole life, you had opportunities your whole life, I think it's sick. I think it's sick. I think it's a trap. I think you're gonna fail if you have that mentality. I think you're gonna fail. But I just wanted to get that off my chest. So please, this is a smoke show. If you disagree with me, please feel free. I don't mind. I want to have that conversation because I don't really mind having that conversation. I have a video here that it was a discussion on the panel, a bunch of black people having a conversation about reparations and how they feel about reparations. If you look at me, you can tell and see I'm black, but you know, I'm a little different. I'm a little different because I I was just raised with a different mindset than a lot of people I know. And I'm not with the victimhood stuff. I'm really not. But we got a video here that I want to tune into, and I think it'll be a great piece for us. Shout out to this YouTuber. Her name is Sabby Sabs. She had this discussion. She had this panel on her channel, and I thought it was pretty amazing to see all these people talking about how they feel about reparations. So we just gonna go over this for this live stream. Make sure y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if y'all are new, man, and we gonna break this thing down. Let's tune in.
Okay, reparations. This should be an interesting one. How do you feel about reparations? I mean, obviously the current administration is not trying to do this, but how do you feel about reparations? And do you believe that your candidate can move forward with this? Let's start with Cesare. I hope I said it right this time. Cesare, you're the Kamala supporter. Do you believe that there will be a pathway from Kamala for reparations?
Want to be honest? You want me to be honest, or you want me to tell
we
you?
all know the quote. But if you want to say it, you can say it.
We know the
Want me
answer
to be-
now. We know the answer
What
now,
you gonna do
man.
for black people?
or you want me to say how I feel about reparations? But I'm just being honest. Nah,
Y'all make sure to let me know if the volume is sounding good. If everything is sounding good, let me know, man.
unfortunately, I'm a big proponent of reparations. I am tired of hearing this whole thing about commission. I know one of the things that Joe Biden did an executive order was the the racial justice order, which was in hindsight word salad. It did absolutely nothing. I mean, since they've been in office, HR 40 that was introduced by Conyers has come out of committee, but it has been stalled since 2021. I wish this administration come forth stronger about reparations, but unfortunately, on this particular situation, I cannot defend them.
So
Okay.
why? So why? So why?
I'm gonna be honest.
We should probably start killing some Palestinians, and we might get some money. I don't know, maybe. Try that.
Right.
Yo,
But again,
that's a wild statement right there. I can't even lie. That's a wild statement. This man said we should start killing Palestinians and then we should probably get some reparations. Absolutely wild. Wild statement to say, honestly. You want reparations that bad that you'd be willing to kill somebody for it. You see what I mean?
you can't say because you didn't have to look at Congress. Like Joe Biden's not sitting there and signing laws, sending money to the Middle East. Like it's just
Nah, but he definitely overruled. Hold on. So he overruled a whole like congressional block to send money to Ukraine, though. Like they were like,
did.
nah, and he was like, yeah, and he sent the money. So
Yes, he did.
And he overstepped Congress in order to give weapons to Israel, though. Twice.
No, I mean, he didn't overstep. He did kind of forcefully come out and say, "Yeah, I need to make this happen."
So you think?
Like,
so you
he
approve? So you approve of reparations, but you don't believe that. You don't believe that Kamala, because that's who you're supporting, will push that forward. Is that what you're saying?
I don't necessarily. Well, for it to happen, let's be perfectly clear. She has to have to give it a chance. At least a Democratic-led Congress. If we're just focusing on electing Kamala and not giving her the tools to at least criticize her, then it kind of is going to become a stalemate. Because we can put.
I don't even think that they would honestly give it to us, even if they had a full Congress full of Democrats. I don't think anybody besides black people, obviously, are trying to get certain black people, which is crazy because every type of black person here is probably not actually from the United States of America. They're probably from somewhere else. But they think that they deserve reparations, and they think that the Democrats is going to give it to them. Very, very interesting. I wonder why.
Kamala in there, but if everything is led by Republicans, it's definitely not going to go anywhere. I would rather take a chance on having her in there and having a Democratic Congress and see what happens, and then we can kick that ass, and then having her in there with a Republican-led Congress, and then yeah.
Hey, Chandler, didn't she say that she wasn't going to do anything for black people specifically?
1 second, Nico.
First
she just
of all,
made.
Don't take that comment out of context because people.
And y'all feel free to let me know y'all thoughts about this down below. If y'all disagree, I would love to have the conversation with y'all. Honestly, let me know y'all thoughts.
I've been kicking people ass about that comment.
So let me just chime in just to let you know. Just let you know, Shazare.
I don't know if I can curse. I apologize.
She did make a statement recently about reparations, and she said that she would put forward a study of it. And a study, and this really pisses me off because a study is just a stonewall tactic. Studies are where bills go to die, which means that she is not in support of cash reparations. She has said this publicly before in interviews before they won in 2020. So she is not going to push that forward. That is just a stonewall tactic. One thing I didn't get to ask you when you came in a little bit later, why are you supporting Kamala Harris?
Okay, so respectfully, I did say that I did make that comment and say that she made the comment about the whole reparation thing and the whole word salad. I did make that was one of my first points about it being word salad.
Right, but why are you supporting her again?
I'm supporting her because not only of the lesser two evils, but when it comes to my rights as a black man, I would not leave it in the hands of Donald Trump.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Just what we were expecting. It's because she's black. And he's just afraid to say it. He's afraid for that to be the only reason why he wants to vote for Kamala. That's it. That's it. That's his justification. Does not make sense, honestly. Does not make sense at all. But you know, I get it. I get it. You think that she's the better candidate just because she has your same skin color, which indeed she could possibly be. Not saying that she can't, but from not being just voting off of skin color, I disagree 100%. But let's continue.
I would rather leave it in the hands
What
of
rights are you referring to? I'm just curious.
So I'm thinking about the Voting Rights Act. I'm thinking about the George Floyd and Policing Act. And this is coming from somebody who wears the uniform. So I support the George Floyd and Policing Act. This is when it comes to women's rights. Not only am I a black man, but I have brothers. I have sisters, trans men who I call brothers. However, y'all want to go into that conversation. I have aunts. So women's rights is very important, and she's been a hawk on women's rights. When it comes to the possibility of appointing somebody on the Supreme Court, she's perfect to be in office because, again, there is a possibility, and Alito just came out with a statement saying that he wants to resign after this election, that she has the possibility of possibly putting somebody up for the Supreme Court, 2 to 3 people on the Supreme Court. If you look at Roberts, if you look at Thomas and Alito. So that's just...
Oh, man.
Okay,
I was when you got 30 seconds. So that's in hindsight one of my reasons why.
Okay, I was just curious because I did look at her website again, and I did notice that Kamala Harris, it's been 10 days and she still has no policies on her platform. She has a donate button. She has a store, but she has no policies on her platform.
But if you look at Trump's website, you got a detailed description of every policy, everything he's going to be doing. You know what she's going to do? She's going to end up stealing his stuff. That's what she's going to do because she has no ideas. She really doesn't have any ideas. She's now trying to gather all her ideas, all her policies together. She's trying to shuffle them together because there's really nothing she has to offer yet besides she's black and she's a woman. She has to stand on policy now. People are waiting. People are like, what's going on here? How are we just going to vote for someone and they don't even have no policy? They've been running this thing with Joe Biden for the past 4 years, and stuff is not really looking good outside. It's looking terrible. How can we vote for this and we don't even have no policy yet? Come on, man. Let's talk about it. Let's at least have that conversation.
So I don't even know what Kamala Harris is running on, and it just I don't want to stay here. I want to move on to somebody else. But that's weird to me. I feel like this is just vibes. I don't see no policy.
So at one point, she wasn't even considered a candidate at one point.
That's a whole.
She wasn't.
That's a whole. Bro.
She was.
She's the vice president. She's the vice president.
Right. She's time out. She's the vice president, and she's at the behest. Unfortunately, she's at the behest of Biden and whatever it is his agenda was. Now that she is the candidate, she has the chance to now formulate her own platform.
It's been
her own platform. She just
had 4 years to think about it.
Time out. She didn't have 4 years.
Go ahead.
She didn't have 4 years. She didn't have 4 years because she's at the behest of she's at the behest of Biden and what his agenda is, and she pushes his agenda.
So you're telling me?
Time out.
Hold on, I might. Hey, listen. I'm in a different time zone, so my brain be fuzzy sometimes. Didn't she run in 2020?
You're only 1 hour behind Eastern.
I know, but hey, listen, don't do that. Don't do that.
You were behind Eastern 2020? I was about to catch her too. Like, wait a minute.
So
didn't she run in 2020? She ran for president, right?
Didn't get a single vote.
Okay.
She did
Right.
run in 2019.
Also, doesn't she have a month?
She became the right. But everything that was 2019 issues is not everything about 2024 issues. Things have changed.
Reparations has been on the
Time out. Please, let's let me get a word in. Like,
you got a lot of words in, to be honest, bro.
Okay. No, I haven't gotten a lot of words. That as soon as I say something, like blah, 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 and the audience can't even hear what I'm saying. I'm looking at the comments.
Okay, really quick, Shazare, and then I do want to move on to other people because they're waiting. Go ahead. Okay, I think we cannot hear you. You got to unmute.
Bad, I was muted.
Wait, are you talking? I'm muting myself. Are you talking to me?
Yeah, go ahead and finish what you were saying, and then I want to move on to other people.
Okay, no, but I was just in hindsight saying that she just accumulated enough delegates to actually be the presumptive nominee. Now that she is the presumptive nominee, she's able to formulate her own agenda on what she sees fits for her presidency. When you are second in command, you are now at the behest of the person in which is leading the party, which was Biden.
Okay.
That's not Cap.
Okay,
So if you're the vice president, aren't you supposed to be prepared to run the United States of America just in case anything happens to the president? Shouldn't you already have stuff in play? Shouldn't you already be involved with all the policies that are already trying to be made? I'm kind of confused. What's the role here? I thought you were supposed to be next in line. I thought you was supposed to be the next person up if anything happens. How you not have any policy yet? That don't make sense. Like the way he's defending her. They be coming at Trump like, yo, where's your stuff? What are you talking about, Trump? We want to know what you're talking about. But when it comes to Kamala, it's like, oh no, give her time, let her chill. She just became the nominee. Da 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 da. No, time is ticking. We need to know what's going on. It's either you gonna do what you got to do in there, or we got to pick the better option. Honestly.
I'm gonna move on. She knew about this a year ago, FYI. And if you have time to make a website and ask people for money, you got time to take money, you got time to come up with a platform. I'm gonna move on to Be Easy here, reparations.
That's just been shifted from Biden website to her website. That's all that is. It's the same website from Biden.
Maybe she should have
She did not know that a year. She did not know that a year ago.
That's just Yes, she did. This was discussed a year ago. Yes, sir.
This was not discussed a year ago.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Be Easy, reparations. And I know you're probably voting. You said if you vote, you may vote Jill Stein or you'll vote for the couch.
Correct. Yeah. So one of the candidates do have to put forth the reparations. Even some people like to make the excuse, hey, well, it's never going to get passed. So ask people, do they support it in principle? And even as a candidate, it's up to you to put forth the policies that you believe in and advocate for them. I heard the brother bring up some of the trans issues. I don't know anyone that was running on gender affirming care in trans bathrooms, but there's many places where they changed to trans bathrooms because they advocated for it. That wasn't a popular policy position, but they said it's not about popularity. We believe this is morally right and morally just, so we're going to fight for gay marriage and all this stuff. And I support the trans community.
Of course you do. You sound like you get a little gay. You do sound gay. But yeah, he's not even lying. Like even in Massachusetts, right? Some of the colleges, some of the places, some of the high schools, they have putting in tampons into the boys' bathroom. So when you go into the boys' bathroom now, you can literally you can get tampons. You know what the young boys is doing with those tampons, bro? Oh, let's talk about it.
Stand on business. They say, hey, look, we want these bathrooms, we want this, and we're going to advocate for it, regardless if you think it's going to pass or you think it's popular or not. So when people say, oh, I don't even know if it's going to pass, it doesn't matter. Do you believe in principle? People say this is a Christian nation. Well, what would Jesus do when it comes to reparations, right? So if you're a Christian and you believe in morality, it's up to you as a politician, as a policy advocate, a activist, whatever, to make the argument, because all of the arguments against it could be easily debunked in real time.
I don't think any politician is out there trying to advocate for reparations. Not for their main point. They rather care about so many other things before they consider the fact that a lot of Black Americans are looking for reparations. It's just the honest truth. They haven't said a word about that. Obama hasn't said a word about that. Why do you guys keep thinking that they care? Why do you think that? You're in America. Your opportunities are endless here. Why do we keep having to think that we deserve reparations for something they did so many years ago? I know for a fact I don't need reparations. They give it to me, that's a different story. But I don't need it. I don't need it.
But it's really up to the politicians to make the argument. And that's even more of a reason. If you know it ain't going to get through Congress, then you get the special brownie points of saying, hey, I was the one stomping for it hard. When people were saying for Medicare for all, right? No one thought that was going to pass, but they wanted to force the vote based on principle, based on it being a just policy position for everyone to have health care for all. Did it pass? No. But did that stop people from rooting for Bernie and still wanting universal health care? So if you believe reparations, if you thought it was just for Jewish people, and all of the other collective groups, why would it be unjust for us? So whether you believe it's going to pass, whether you think it's popular and your neighbor is going to hate you, as someone who believes to be logical and principled, it's up to us to make the legitimate argument. And let the policy and the political chips fall where they may.
All right, let's go ahead and bring in Lawrence. Lawrence, you kind of quiet. I got to bring you in earlier.
I really don't understand why, but some people they won't ever get it either. They won't ever get it. Like, they'll still be out here thinking that they can't get something because they're unfortunate, they're in a bad situation. When in doubt, it's actually they're the reason why they're in that situation. At the end of the day, the only person you can blame for you not getting off your behind and putting in some work somewhere is you. Honestly, that's just how I feel. But let's continue.
Yeah. Reparations, right? So this is the easiest one I would say to say we could pull Kamala if we organize versus Trump, right? This is the easiest one. It's reparations. And furthermore, Obama, I never full-throatedly endorsed reparations, let alone HR 40. So I don't know. I heard you say she might have done something along those lines, but I haven't seen her fully endorse it. But if she's talking about studying it, I know she's been more explicit about it. Kamala.
Okay.
And so I'm saying we could push HR 40 over the line. Again, it's a show. I know it's weak, but what I'm saying is, like, between the two, it makes sense. And I don't know what else we can get her to do. I want Black people to have tax-free for 400 years. And I know we're going to net zero wealth by 2050. And I also understand, again, I want to bring it up, just to point it out, Pan-Africanism means that Black people exist that have been suffering in this way. So we should be less divided when it comes to that, when people come over here. But to be straightforward and simple, again, in short, and quick about it. We just need to make sure that Kamala is pushing reparations over the. I'm for it. I think that HR 40 is the basic. I think that's.
But your first choice is Cornel West, right? Doesn't Cornel West have reparations on his platform?
Oh yeah, he's racial justice with Cornel West is a no-brainer. Obviously, I would argue that he's squared away with that. I'm sitting up here as a backup for Cesare.
Okay. Poor Cesare is like, God damn, why I say yes to this panel?
It looks like she's the only Trumper in there. I don't know, man. She might be the only Trumper in there. But I disagree, man. I really do disagree. Obviously, I want the best for my people, but best for my people is y'all going out there and getting after it, being the best versions of yourselves, being awesome, productive people, and just getting to it, man. Getting education, because at the end of the day, man, you could get some money and you could still just blow it all if you don't know what to do with it. So with that being said, man, if you can get rich without reparations, which a lot of people do, you shouldn't have no reason to be asking for reparations, man. Honestly.
I'll reiterate that I have not. I'm not going to shame anyone in any direction, because it's clear to me that people are at different levels and they just need to fight. I think the quickest or most succinct explanation of my stance is we need to organize to pull all candidates toward our issues. And in the short run, obviously, we want Kamala to come to us on those issues. And if we can get her over, we don't have to backtrack. And I know some of y'all disagree with that, because either way, that's up in the air. That's a solid question to have. Who's the lesser evil? But I'm just saying maybe it's blue, because that's closer to us.
I just want to reiterate,
please.
I do vote shame. I vote shame like a motherfucker because so for example, I do believe in reparations, and I believe that it is, if you are a black person who has lived in the States or has parents who's lived in the States, you have a responsibility to put, I don't care who the hell you're voting for, first of all, if on this issue, if you don't hold them accountable here, then why the hell are you voting and talking about what other issues you want? Because we're talking about immigration and all this other stuff that affects our community. But the one thing that we are owed, not hypothetically, but legitimately, we're not going to get. And I'm not even talking about slavery. Like, yeah, we can go with make the slavery argument, but I like to talk about it from the argument that I can actually win, because technically my people weren't there. So I'm Caribbean, so I'm Bajan. I wasn't here, so I got to make the other argument.
So what are you talking about? You're from the same island as me. You don't need reparations. What are you talking about? Even in Barbados, yes, I could understand. They went through a lot. But they are a free island now. They are a free island. There's no slavery going on in Barbados. You can do and be whatever you want to be in Barbados. What are you talking about, man? I'm so glad this guy's on the panel. I wish I could join this panel. I wish I was here on this panel. I would love. This guy looks like an older gentleman. He's an older gentleman. He looks older than me. I'm only 28 years old. 28 years old. Never in my life have I said to myself, these people or whoever owes me, the government owes me reparations. Never. I can't understand. What are y'all talking about? What are y'all seriously?
For example, after the Great Depression, right? Y'all know all the banks were forced to close, including the black banks. The problem is the black banks were in the green. It was the JP Morgans that were fucking the economy over. But whenever they passed the Federal Housing Act and FDR did his thing, he forced black banks to close and killed off our wealth. He disallowed us from building houses in the communities we wanted to build them in, getting loans and grants in the communities we wanted to get them in through redlining. And the last case of redlining, which is literally a Jim Crow law, was prosecuted in 2014. So when we're talking about reparations, we're not talking about reparations from slavery. We're talking about systemic oppression by the government that came through legislative form that we can prove in a court of law. That is what's crazy to me. If we can't even gather around this issue and be like, look, I'm voting for Kamala, but she need to get this shit together. Look, I'm voting for Dgotsauce. She's doing it, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care who the candidate is. We got to be able to come together on this issue, because we can't get what we owed while we're working together. Then we're not about to get shit out, so there's not really any point in discussing black issues.
That's a really good point, Nico. Torrin may have to leave in just a second, so I do want to bring in Torrin, and then I'll go to Dana. Torrin, what's your take on this, on reparations?
Well, first of all, I want to speak as a foundational Black American. My people have been here since the 1700s. There is absolutely, first of all, I'm 100% behind reparations for African Americans. Now, as far as what kind of candidate is going to help us move the needle as far as reparations, I don't see any of them doing that. I think what has to happen is people who are concerned about reparations for African Americans have to constantly be on the backs and then on the necks of these candidates and make sure that that information and make sure that this issue is at top of mind and also at top of our priority as far as what we want as far as policy. I saw that.
No, I see. I don't understand. Y'all said y'all been here since, he said he's been here since the 1800s. His whole family. They had a bigger, they had a more of a chance to be more successful, not including the slavery days. But after the slavery days stopped, after they started getting rights, they fought for our rights. After they did all that, they had the opportunity to do and be successful without anything stopping them. At least our generation, and probably the generation before us. Now, this guy, he looks like he's a little older also, is still asking for reparations. He might end up passing away, and I hope not, obviously, but I hope you live a long life. But you may end up passing away, and you still will never hear any politician that is fighting for the American president candidacy speak out and say, I'm trying to give all Black Americans reparations due to the cause of slavery in this United States of America. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. You'll never hear it. I don't care if they're the blackest black. Kamala Harris ain't even originally from the United States. She was born in the United States, but her heritage is not the United States. Her heritage is an immigrant. She's an immigrant. Her parents came here and they worked their behinds off, made a way for her, and now she became the nominee for the vice president of the United States with a Jamaican and I believe Asian or Hawaiian background. That's how it works. That's the American dream. That's hard work. That's dedication. That's not taking no for an answer. She is the prime example of why you don't need reparations. She started from nothing too. Y'all are acting like people get rich because they get handouts. No, people don't get rich because they get handouts. They get rich or they get successful because they work hard. They work extremely hard. They learn. They put themselves through school. They fight for whatever they need. But they do not look for a handout. They look for opportunities, and that's what the focus should be on, not reparations, to be honest.
The other brother, I forgot his name, said that Kamala said she wants to do another study, but we already have a study. People think that HR 40 is a reparations policy. All HR 40 is a study to determine the feasibility of having reparations. And I think people get that twisted. First of all, that study, while I think it is important, it's been stalled since 2000 and it's been in Congress floating around since the early 1980s, damn near. But I hope I'm not wrong on my dates. But we don't need another study on reparations. All you got to do is go into the Black community and look around if you need a study on reparations. But if you want to go back and go through the history of this, like the brother just said, the history of systemic discrimination, the history of Jim Crow, the history of political violence and political terrorism that African Americans have faced since 1619, and ever since, if you want to go back before that, 1555, Even if you go to the point, even if you go up to 1776, there is a long, historic, documented pattern of discrimination and disenfranchisement that Black Americans have suffered that needs to be redressed. And I think it's ridiculous to say, for even regardless of what side of the aisle you follow, whether you're a Republican or an independent, third party, or a Democrat, to say that we need another damn study for that, when people who have been over here far less time are able to get more reparations than we have. I mean, look, Japanese Americans were interned for what, 3.5 years? And even though it took them 20 or 30 years to get there, they still were able to get recompense for what they suffered. Look what's going on in Israel. The United States still pays money to Holocaust survivors, and there was no Holocaust in the United States. That was Germany that did that. That was also, ironically, Ukrainians and also other people who were allies of the Third Reich who helped go push along with that. But outside of Germany, which actually pays through economic reparations, the United States is the biggest remitter to Holocaust survivors in Israel of Holocaust.
You know why? Because a lot of the United States is ran by Jewish people. Obviously, they're going to get their people their money. Obviously. But it's not because of reparations. It's just a simple fact because they have a whole lot of money. They can make sure that their community is good. They also worked extremely hard to get their money. It's not like you can't just be out here looking for people to give you reparation because somebody put your ancestor in slavery. Your ancestor fought for you to be here already. They fought for your rights. They fought for your freedoms. You have no excuse anymore. And for you to be begging for reparations in 2024, like I said, I'm 28 years old, man. I'm 28 years old. I was told and raised up to never ask any government official for a handout. That's how my parents put it. They put that junk in my head since I was a little kid. They made sure I was like, they made sure, go out there, get your education, learn what you have to learn, and be successful. Don't let anybody stop you. Don't look for no handouts, but kill the opportunities you receive. And that's what I did. That's what I did. In every moment, everything you do, every opportunity you get, you have to seize. You have to be prepared for it. Because if you mess up, if you're slightly not capable of doing a certain job, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it. And I want to address the stuff that he's talking about in the Black community, specifically in the hoods. There are more Black men killing Black men in the streets than police officers are killing Black men. And any white person is killing Black men. At this moment in time, we look at Chicago, we look at Philadelphia, we look at California. They are in wars right now. And you cannot blame that on no system. You cannot blame that on no type of past. That is present day stuff, present day evil that is happening. All right, it's present day. However you want to look at it, you can't say because of slavery that brother over there is shooting at that brother. You can't say that. And I would love for someone to prove it, but I would love, honestly, I would love to. I would love to see it. Let's continue.
There are so many different precedents that are lined up for different populations in the United States that are receiving recompense for wrongs done to them by the United States, that it's ridiculous to say that Black people don't deserve reparations. Now, I think what needs to happen, though, I think a lot of people need to get a lot more proactive about pushing this issue forward, because we get so caught up, and I'm going to go off track a little bit here. There's this issue that Black people politically have been doing since the 1950s, where we feel like for us to get recompense and for us to get respect as human beings, we have to go around and hug everybody else. I think what's happening now is you're starting to see people who are Black Americans start to say that, look, what about issues that are endemic to us? What about issues that are specific to Black Americans? What can we do to build for ourselves? What can we do to build as a collective and build as a separate identity? That doesn't mean that we have to attack anybody else. That doesn't mean that we have to disregard what everybody else is going through. But we as Black Americans have specific issues that need to be addressed in the United States. And there's nothing wrong with saying that these are the things that we have to be concerned about. And we have to focus on those instead of going out and trying to be everybody else's friend, especially when you're trying to be friends with people who don't like you in the first place. And we got to be real about that, like I said earlier. There are a lot of people who are in this country who have anti-Black psychological problems dealing with Black Americans. We have to be able to say that we are Black Americans. These are the things that we need. These are the things that we need to be recompensed for. And we have to put policy in place, and we have to elect people. And we also have to have actual advocates in place who are able to take these grievances to the government and build on that and create policy. That's all.
That is the well said there, Torrin. I totally hear that. Okay, I want to bring in.
I never disagreed with so many people in my life. I never disagreed with so many people in my life. I don't know what it is. I might just be different. Might just be different. I have never disagreed to the point to where I'm like, how did these people get here? Some of these people ain't even from their nature, their nationality is not even from the United States. It's from outside of the country, and they're on this panel talking about we should get reparations. Y'all sound crazy. Y'all sound crazy. So crazy. So crazy. It's bad. Honestly, this is I can't believe it. Thank you for having this conversation, Sambi. Thank you, because I need the people to see this also, man. I really do. I had to talk about this. I need to give my perspective on this because I feel like we've been talking about this for so long and still nothing has been done. There's two things that I've been hearing since I was a baby. Jesus is coming back soon, and reparations. That's a fact. That's a fact. And for the most part, I'll stick with the Jesus thing. But the reparations thing, I ain't budging on that one.
Jay, and then Dana, then Colin.
Hey, what's up, everyone? So, as far as reparations go, I'm personally, in favor of lineage-based reparations for, people. I think Torrin was onto something when he spoke about how Black Americans have specifically, been targeted since the start of the country. So, when you consider slavery and Jim Crow, I think that's a unique issue that needs to be addressed separate from what happened in the Caribbean and South America and all that stuff. I believe it was Lawrence who argued in favor of a Marshall Plan. Well, I would say I agree with, what he said there, but it's not really just on America, because the Vatican was also one of the biggest proponents of the slave trade. So was the UK and, Portugal. So, it shouldn't just, I think in order for reparations to happen, you need to focus it, on the people who were impacted the most, which seems to be Black Americans. So even though I'm a Black immigrant, I wouldn't include myself, in that conversation because, race-based reparations are just unconstitutional, according to the law. But lineage-based reparations are actually constitutional. So, that can pass, and it's a lot easier to make that argument. And you can specifically identify, who receives the reparations in that case. So, that's the issue that me personally, I don't think RFK has, all the way right. So even though I agree with him on, most issues, I do wish he was in favor of, lineage-based cash reparations for Black Americans. That being said, he does have a targeted community repair program that he wants to implement to help build up the poorest communities in the country, many of which are going to be Black communities. So
listen, to me, there's only one way to do this, man. There's only one way to do this. If you want to stick together, if you want to see your brother be successful, let's not start giving out handouts. Let's not start asking for reparations. How about we get together and we start forming businesses and we start investing in each other's and we start loving on each other, not killing each other, not looking at each other like we did something to each other. And that you will see an entirely different community of successful people. But because you guys want to stay stuck in this reparations talk, in this reparations debate, you won't get anywhere. You won't get far. You really won't. Ain't nobody out there thinking that anybody, any specific group deserves reparations right now. Ain't nobody care. There's too many opportunities. There's too much going on. There's too much things, ways you can make money. People are literally coming here without any luggage, no food, no clothing, no money. They're getting a job as a janitor, working their way up to CEO status, just because they know what it feels like to come from nothing. And y'all still are sitting here asking for reparations. Don't make sense to me, but let's continue, man.
That's be right something back to consider. And he has also already indicated his support for the money that was appropriated to Black farmers, actually, for reparations and discrimination that happened against them. So he is, in favor. It seems like he's open to lineage-based reparations. However, I wish he was out there pushing for it harder, because I think it's something that needs to happen. And I think he does get that slightly wrong. So that being said, I think a lot of his other policies, are do disproportionately benefit the Black community, since the Black community, unfortunately, has been targeted for so long and it has worse economic indicators. I think the Black community would get lifted up disproportionately by, his home program, his home ownership program, and, reining in inflation, because that impacts Black people more. That housing problem that everyone is talking about, this impacts Black people. Inflation and BlackRock, are contributing to that and making it worse. And he's the only one who's shown the bravery to take on intelligence agencies. And if you look at what's happened to Black leaders, like throughout. He's
Jill Stein, you gotta be fair. You gotta be fair.
No, but she doesn't call out current crimes. I've never heard her call out a current crime.
She called out genocide in Gaza, Jay. What about that, huh?
But that is in the CIA.
Since we talking
CIA
about
is
it,
involved in that. No, we'll get to Gaza. Don't worry. But now listen. All I'm saying is this: the most recent crime I can point to that we know the CIA is directly involved in is the lab leak cover-up, because the CIA got directly involved in pressuring the scientists.
It's a class war, man. It's really a class war, because at the bottom, you're going to think like the bottom. When you at the top, you're going to think like you at the top. When you're in the middle, you're going to think like you're in the middle. And you could tell who is at the bottom still trying to get there. You could tell, man, by just the way they speak and just by the way they talk, and you can tell like they don't want it. They don't want it. They would rather a handout instead of going and getting it themselves. I could be wrong, because I don't know these people personally. But from just off of the fact that they could sit here in front of, how many thousands of people and say, yes, we want reparations, we deserve reparations because of our ancestors. I just don't get it, man. Especially the fact that most of them aren't even African Americans. So how does that work? Y'all let me know y'all thoughts about this down in the comments below, man. I think I might go through one more person, hear what they gotta say, but I completely disagree with all of this. All the people that think that we deserve this handout and that it will make a difference. It would probably make a difference for some people because, it's a blessing regardless if you get it. But at the same time, is it going to stop what is actually affecting us in our homes, in our communities, and why we are really at the bottom? It's not because of systematic justice. It's not because of none of that. Systematic oppression. It is just the simple fact that we are not putting ourselves in that successful position. That's what it is. That's what it is. And a lot of people just don't know. And it's cool. You don't know? I hope you come across this video so you can hear words that are coming out of my mouth. You can do it. You don't have to be a statistic. You don't have to be a criminal. You don't have to be a hater. You can do it. Ain't nobody gonna be able to stop you. If you wanted to create something, if you wanted to be a CEO of somewhere, if you wanted to go to school and become a doctor, there is nowhere, at least that I have in my past living. It might be different for the older generations, you know, the 60-year-olds and the 70-year-olds that say they've been here so long and, you know, they're still struggling. But me, I'm 28 years old. I can realize that I'm not pushing for this. This is not for me. At least it's not for me. It might be for you, but it's definitely not for me. I'm the type that wants to go get it, man. That's me. That's me. That's always how I was how I was built. That's how I was raised. I'm glad I was raised that way too, because it really forced me to have that underdog mentality, that mentality that you shouldn't be able to stop me. And if you choose to attempt, this is a competition, so we gonna square up. We gonna have to do what we have to do, and may the best man win. And that's the mentality. That's the mentality. And I'm not talking about physically square up. I'm talking about mentally square up. You push me to be better, I'm gonna push you to be better. You push me to get this job, I'm gonna push you to get that job. We should be pushing each other to be at the top together. But now we're asking for the government to campaign for reparations. That's the mentality that these people are having. And I just disagree. I 100% disagree. I know it might not be a popular... Let me get that back on. I know it might not be a popular position. I know it might not be a popular position. I know it might not hit the way you want it to hit. I know some people might think of this some way else. Y'all probably don't like what y'all are hearing. But I'm here to tell you the truth, man. I'm here to tell you the truth. I appreciate all of y'all that came in. I appreciate all of y'all that stopped by, that left a like on the stream. It's your boy Dgotsauce, man. You know, I can't complain. I can't complain. I don't have this mindset, right? I don't have this mindset, but I can understand where these people are coming from if they are from descendants of slaves. I mean, technically we all are, if you think about it. But mindset of voting just because, I'm done with that. I'm done with that. I'm trying to be successful. I want you to be successful. It's not about race. It's not about gender. It's about being the best version of yourself. Just like I want you to be successful, I want you to be healthy. Just like I want you to be successful and healthy, I want you to be educated. I want the best for you. That's what you should be pushing for. Let's push for that. 2024 and going forward. If you're a follower of my channel, I really do appreciate y'all. Real talk, because we growing, we getting better, we getting bigger. But if you're a follower of this channel, you are not going to be one of these people that are out here looking for handouts, looking for a special request because you think you're special. We ain't special. We all humans. We all got to do our best. We all got to go to work every day. We all got to go to school. We all got to learn. We all got to do this and that. We got to pay bills. We got to survive. So it's not really about what people can do for you. It's about what you can do for yourself. Once you put yourself in that position to be great, once you put yourself in that position to be unstoppable, and you know it, ain't nobody can stop you. Ain't nobody can stop you. You won't need no handouts. You'll be great. You'll just be able to do everything you need to do by yourself if you have to. That's how great we gonna be over here. I love you guys, man. I really do. I hope y'all enjoyed this live stream. Thank you again so much for tuning in with me. Make sure y'all leave a like on the live stream. If y'all disagree with me, make sure y'all leave a comment. I'd love to hear y'all thoughts. It's your boy Dgotsauce, man. Oh yeah. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're new. Until next time, all right, y'all. Get out of here, man. Peace.